special, too, when we did go there.
Yep. Raise your hand if you're still having fun.
I am.
All right. Yeah.
Yay!
Are there any school teachers or professors here? Anybody teaching school? Oh, good. I can tell the joke then. Good. There was I was in education for a long time. I love stories, and there was this third grade teacher who gave her class a homework assignment to go home and write a short story with a moral. Next day, the kids come to class. Mary, let's hear your story. Mary says, well, there was this farmer. He had a dozen eggs in the back of his truck in a basket, but he hit a bump and 2 of them broke. Oh, nice little story. What's the moral to your story? Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Oh, it's so old. That's so old.
Third grade, though. Anyway, was that Susie? Okay. Mary, let's hear your story. Well, there's this farmer and a dozen eggs in a basket in the back of his truck to be hatched, but only 10 hatched. Well, that's kind of a nice little story. What's the moral to your story? Don't count your chickens before they hatch. So finally, So Billy, let's hear your story. Billy says, well, my Aunt Karen was flying in a helicopter over enemy territory when the helicopter got hit, had to bail out, had a machine gun in one hand, bottle of whiskey in the other, drank the bottle of whiskey, hit the ground, killed 100 enemy soldiers with the machine gun, and 50 more with their bare hands. Teacher goes, wow, Billy, that's quite a story. What's the moral to your story? Stay away from my Aunt Karen if she's been drinking.
What are we doing?
Welcome to the show, folks.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Raise your hand. Gordon Lightfoot, anybody? Gordon Lightfoot ring a bell? Yeah, Gord's a good buddy of ours. Jackie met Gord out at the Troubadour out in L.A.
We sure did.
Back in those days. We'll do a quick. Gordon came from Orillia, Ontario, which is about 90 miles northwest of Toronto, in kind of a rural town. As a child, he was a boy soprano. If you get a chance to go online, listen to him. He's outstanding. Beautiful voice. Won the competition Kiwanis 2 years in a row, went to Massey Hall in Toronto and won that too. Then his voice changed. He competed again, won that, went to Massey Hall, won that. So just a very talented man. He liked jazz, going through high school jazz. He was a percussionist and a lead singer, in a jazz group. Got into folk music with the Weavers album live at Carnegie Hall. Went to Westlake School of Music upon graduation with Buddy Hill, a good friend of his out in L.A., and they went out there for 2 semesters, took notation and music theory and arranging. He wanted to write music. That's what he wanted to do, and he wanted to learn how to do that. They didn't have any money, so out there they would either, number 1, go to the beach, with all the girls, which is cool, and number 2, they would go to the airport and watch the big 727s come in. And one day they were there, tremendously homesick, wanted to go home. Didn't have any money. It was raining, stormy, foggy, windy, horrible day. Their spirits were down. Just wanted to go home. A few years later, when he was married to Brita, who was a wonderful, he loved his entire life, and was a wonderful support of his early music career. He was babysitting Fred. Brita was out shopping, and he remembered that day at the airport when it was rainy and foggy and windy and how depressed they were. He picked up Fred, put him in the crib, and wrote a song 2 hours later called Early Morning Rain. Raise your hand if you ever heard of Early Morning Rain. Sure. So he contacted Reprise Records, and they called him back and said, Gordon, you've finally written a good song. So nonetheless, he got hired by Albert Grossman as a songwriter. Peter, Paul, and Mary, Bob Dylan, Ian, and Sylvia were the first to record it, and it, of course, became a big hit. If you talk to Gordon, he'll tell you this really is his first good song, and his favorite cover of it is Elvis Presley. If you get a chance, go online and listen to Elvis sing this thing. It is amazing. So, Early Morning Rain. In the early morning rain, with $1 in my hand, with an aching in my heart, and my pockets full of sand. I'm a long way from home, and I miss my loved one so. In the early morning rain, with no place to go. On runway number 9, big 707 set to go. But I'm stuck here on the ground, where the cold wind blows. Now the liquor tasted good, and those women all were fast. Well, there she goes, my friend. She's rolling out at last. Hear the mighty engines roar, see the silver bird on high. She's away and westward bound, far above the clouds she'll fly, where the morning rain don't fall and the sun always shines. She'll be flying over my home in about 3 hours' time. This old airport's got me down. It's no earthly good to me, 'cause I'm stuck here on the ground, just as cold as I can be. You can jump a jet plane like you can a freight train, so I'd best be on my way in the early morning rain. You can't jump a jet plane like you can a freight train, so I'd best be on my way in the early morning rain. Gordon Lightfoot, all right.
Yes, Gordon.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Great song, great song.